Friends, every year thousands of scientific research papers are published all over the world, in which psychological research also has a huge part. When we talk about pain, the first thing that comes to everyone's mind is physical pain. But according to psychology, there are two types of pain. Physical pain, when there is an injury. When there is some fulfillment, reflection, rejection. And you will be surprised to know that according to psychology, when someone faces rejection, then he feels pain equal to physical pain. Because on receiving rejection, the same part of the brain gets activated which is activated on receiving an injury. Breakup is equal to rejection is equal to pain. On receiving rejection, it is easy to just say move on, but in reality, it is an emergency signal for your brain. And that is why your reaction is so intense. After all, your brain is made to be connected. Cognitive dissonance occurs when two different beliefs come into your mind, like you are loyal to a leader, partner, ideology, but you see clear proof that he is wrong. In such a situation, your logic says, get out of here. But the mind says, no, friend. How can I accept that I have wasted so much of my time and energy on this? Like a toxic relationship, where initially there are small manipulations. Still, you doubt yourself, it must be my mistake. Cognitive dissonance is the lockdown of your thoughts. The more you try to prove yourself right, the more deeply you get trapped. So be completely honest with yourself. Illusion of control. When you play Ludo, then you roll the dice very hard to get a 6 while you want to get only a 1. Actually, it is completely dependent on chance or probability. We keep applying it to even the biggest and most common things in our daily life. For example, while playing cards, the player who chooses the cards is sure that he will win when you buy a lottery ticket of your own choice. Then you are completely satisfied about winning. Because of the illusion of control, people's confidence increases while the outcome is always dependent on probability. Have you ever wondered why a watch worth rupees? 2,000 does not look expensive compared to a watch worth rupees. 10,000 kept next to it because actually it is called anchoring effect in psychology, which is a psychological trick which big brands and companies use against you. Because your mind makes the first number an anchor, and everything that comes after that gets compared with that anchor, be it salary negotiation, shopping, or relationship standards. The first number or idea you hear becomes your reference point. Think for a minute and tell me, which of these comes first in any matter? Comment your answer, and now listen to us for 2 seconds. Carefully and visualize. Have you ever gone to a room somewhere, and suddenly you start feeling strange for which there is no reason? Sometimes there is a loud noise suddenly, and you get scared, while it is just the sound of a book falling. In both these cases, we feel first and think later. And this is called the effective primacy hypothesis. This concept was discovered in 1980 by psychologist Robert Zayonk, meaning that before the brain analyzes anything, your emotions have already reacted. This happens because emotions are automatic, unconscious, and super fast. And we humans are a complete storehouse of emotions. Mirror neuron. Have you noticed that whenever someone near you yawns, you also automatically start yawning? Seeing someone laughing brings a smile on your face, and seeing someone crying, you also become emotional. This is not a coincidence, but it happens because of mirror neuron. Your brain does not just observe what is happening in front of you, but also feels it. And without thinking and without permission, mirrors or copies, it just like pets, sometimes start imitating their owners. The fundamental attribution error. Now we want to tell you about a psychological glitch which everyone does without realizing it, which is called fundamental attribution error. This is a psychological bias in which we judge the behavior of others on the basis of their personality, but put our actions on the situation. Like while driving on the road, when another driver overtakes you, you say, "What a rude person he is." Whereas if you overtake someone unknowingly, you say, "What should I do? I am getting late." And you see in the park that an uncle is scolding a boy badly. Seeing him, you say, "What a strange man he is." Won't children play in the park? But when the next day those children hit a ball in your white clothes, you scold those children badly. It means that other people are wrong because they are bad, and you are wrong because you are helpless. According to a study, when something bad happens to someone else, in 65% of the cases people blame their personality. But when those people themselves do something bad, then only in 44% of the cases they blame themselves. Rest of the cases they blame the situation. We judge the world only on the surface level. This person is like this. We judge ourselves with context. I am fine. It's just that the time is bad. This is the game of fundamental attribution error. Triangulation. Triangulation, as the name itself reflects. It means when a third person is forcefully inserted between two people. Have you ever noticed that a person does not talk to you directly but makes you talk through a third person? Or sometimes people tell something about you to others behind your back, which creates tension between you two. Well, this is called triangulation. Actually, this is a manipulation technique where a person uses a third person to control himself. Be it friendship, relationship, or family. Like you and your partner are fighting, and your partner involves his friend in that fight to overpower you. And an office colleague uses a third person to spread gossip against the other. Triangulation. Divide and rule. Triangulation happens when someone is playing a game secretly. His aim is confusion, divide, and control. But if you are aware, clear, and direct, then no one can control you. Can't do that. A true relationship and connection is one where the conversation is direct, and there is no third person in between. Dunbar's number. After researching the behavior and brain of thousands of people, British anthropologist Robin Dunbar found that your friends or meaningful relationships also have a limited number. And that limited number is 150, meaning your brain can form real and stable relationships only with 150 people whose emotions, vibes, and connections you can genuinely feel. This number is limited to 150 people because it takes time, energy, and emotion to form a real relationship. These 150 people can also be divided into further groups. Do you know? People who own violent breeds of pet dogs like Rottweilers or Pit Bulls are more likely to have personality traits like anger, aggression, and hostility. Now you must be thinking, do we choose dogs that are like us? In fact, while owning a pet dog, not only personality traits are affected, but other factors also affect it. Like people who have less social connections in their life. If the owner lives in a high crime area, the owner has chronic stress. Due to all these things, the owner naturally becomes a little more defensive and aggressive, after which they need protection, so such people choose guard dogs, strong presence, aggressive breed. Reminiscence bump. Generally, our human's memory remembers recent things well, like what you did yesterday or the day before. But you may not remember well what you were doing today a year ago, but there is a psychological phenomenon, reminiscence bump,
which says that a person remembers the memories of teenage and early adulthood, i.e., the time between the age of 10 to 30 years, most sharply and in detail. Like if a person is 30 years old, then his favorite hero, sports player, or song will be the same which he liked in his teenage. This happens because we build our identity in the age of 10 to 30 years. Whatever happens to us in this age period, friendship, heartbreaks, first job, struggles, all become a part of our character, so the memory of those moments gets stored deeply in our brain. Reminiscence bump is the reason due to which we are never able to forget some moments of the past, like the first day of our new school and college.
Daydreamers are more creative. You may have heard someone in school or at home say, "Don't daydream." But did you know? Daydreaming is not a time waster. It is a creative superpower. Psychologist Jerome L. Singer explains in his book, Daydreaming and Fantasy, that people who daydream activate the default mode network, DMN, in their brains. This is the part of the brain that handles imagination, self-reflection, and creative thoughts. When most people focus on a single task, this network turns off. But creative people's DMN stays on even when doing the most difficult tasks. This means that these people keep connecting ideas internally, even while working. Daydreamers aren't lazy. They run a separate world within this world, and this separate world makes them more creative. Like J.K. Rowling's famous fantasy novel, Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling got the idea of writing Harry Potter while sitting at the railway station while daydreaming, so next time when you daydream, don't stop yourself. Maybe that thought will be your next big idea.